Invincible Nerds.
Welcome to the video feed of everything comics, video games, and movies. I'm Ethan.
I'm Francisco.
And this is Invincible Nerds. Alright, welcome to episode 1, and this is our weekly review section for comic books, and we're going to start this week by reviewing Iron Man, but before we do that, I'm going to give a shout out to Ultimate Spider-Man. If you are a Spider-Man fan, then you owe it to yourself to pick up Ultimate Spider-Man, because it is awesome. But anyway, let's continue to
Invincible Iron Man.
In this issue, Tony Stark has thrown himself into some crazy Asgardian metal and come out as a makeshift destroyer armor, and it's kind of lame.
The armor doesn't look half bad, but the story just did not help it.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically just filler for Fear itself, and it's a bunch of dwarves swearing all the time, and you know, it's Marvel, they can't be dropping F-bombs or anything, so they're constantly bleeping it out, and it's like fill in the blank cuss word sections, and it gets old real quick.
I can say that to try to separate one scene from another, one panel from another, it all just looks like one giant blur.
Yeah, it's filler. I mean, if you're reading Fear itself, pick it up. If you're a fan of Iron Man, pick it up because you should. Who's not a fan of Iron Man at this point? But just know it's filler.
This issue was exactly that. It was just filler.
I'd give it a 6.
6.
All right.
Finally, we get to the conclusion of Marvel's big event for this year, Fear itself.
It's kind of a lackluster event so far, and the final issue does not.
It's been a long time coming, but
it just does not stack up. It's bad.
It was at first it was promising, just by the hype at first. Then by the first 2 issues, you just knew it was going to be one giant plot.
And I was kind of hoping, at least in this one, there was going to be some kind of epic brawl, and
it was, and it had very promising points. Hulk thing and Thor just throwing down, that was looking to be like a pretty good. I was thinking to myself, maybe this is it. Maybe this is where Marvel turned this around. It did not.
It didn't. Essentially, the Serpent and Thor throw down. The Serpent turns into somewhat of a dragon-like creature, which, come on. And Thor fights it with a sword and kind of like a knight suit, and it's kind of lame. Any of the cool moments that happen with like Captain America picking up Thor's hammer, or any of the Avengers getting these enchanted weapons,
are pretty much the high points.
They're the high points, but you don't even get to see all the weapons in action. Spider-Man actually has like
very cool weapons,
like blades coming from his wrists, and you don't see him use them. You see Wolverine,
Iron Fist.
You see Iron Fist kind of throw a hammer
and
once.
That's as much as you see out of it.
It's a single attack from most of them. That's it, and it has 4 epilogue scenes, and it just drags
really
on.
all it is just wrap up all those little loose ends, all the offshoot comics, and really, it just did not do it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but anyway, issue, I give it a 4.
4.
Sorry. All right, and we come to the Avengers, which
Earth's mightiest heroes,
which is essentially just like another epilogue for Fear itself, and somewhat of a kind of filler issue.
Again, just filler.
Yeah, it follows a woman as she kind of picks apart crime scenes from past Marvel events, and
it was kind of cool to look back, see what's happened over the last few years, and maybe there's something in the works. There's something going on. That's probably as much as the best you get out of this.
Yeah, I mean, the artwork's kind of.
It's pretty cheesy.
It's average at best, and it's just set up, but there's no meat. It's all bread.
The story could not be more remorseful. Just flat out mourning. It's just a mourning issue for what's happened. We get it. Fear itself was trying to be a huge event, but it just didn't feel like it was a worldwide event.
And I mean, the treatment of death of certain major characters was just kind of overshadowed by what's coming next. I would give this one a 4 as well.
3.
Sorry. Next one will be good though. Alright, and last one we come to is the final issue of Uncanny X-Men. And notice how I put the air quotes because the shit starts at number 1 next month, I think.
Now, Uncanny X-Men have been around for a while, and I've got to say, this is a pretty emotional issue.
It's pretty emotional. It's pretty cool. I wouldn't say they really wrap up some loose ends, but I mean they kind of have the it's mostly a wrap up of Schism, and it kind of wraps it up in a really nice way. It shows the departure of the two teams.
If anything, I think the emotions of each character, what they were feeling, was what's really laid out to be. The relationships that were strained. You finally got to see how they ended up. Cyclops and Beast, I think.
Yeah, they don't like each other anymore.
They don't.
Not that they did any time recently, but they really don't.
But I think it's safe to say that case is closed.
Yeah, no patching this one up. And definitely the highlight of the issue, Iceman throwing a snowball on Cyclops' face.
Cyclops really turned into a dick in this one.
Yeah, I mean he's trying to be cold and emotionless to sort of not express any sort of remorse, sadness, regret, or anything.
He's got to be the strong leader for.
He shuts himself out. Snowball to the face. Awesome.
Really, there was a lot of points where it's just you're reading and you're like, man, but then of course you get to the end and there's no bigger impact, I think, than seeing Cyclops just pack up that last box with all the pictures of it.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I think that was pretty much what closed it.
Yeah.
For the X-Men.
That, and there are some definitely sinister things, pardon the pun, coming in the X-Men's future. So definitely pick up, Uncanny X-Men whenever it restarts at number 1.
And I think I have to say, I'll give this one a 9.
We'll give it an 8. All right, and now we're moving on to DC Comics and Justice League issue number 2, featuring the brawl between Green Lantern, Batman, Superman, and the Flash, which
the Flash really took the show on this one.
Yeah, Flash is
he took
scene
the
stealer.
stage, and definitely, I think he was a character who, with an appreciation of Victor. I mean, it was pretty cool to see him, but Flash was really the one to just step up this game. It's just the spotlight was on him.
Yeah, Flash definitely stole the show on this one, and I gotta say, Superman. I'm not a fan of Superman at all.
I'm digging Superman.
But
He's turned into a boss. He's not the same Clark Kent that in the old DCU. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, granted, it's not written in the same way of like the actual Superman comic where he's already at the level of flying and whatnot. I mean, he's just starting out, but he's this kind of cocky, arrogant, but very powerful being, and he lets his anger get the best of him in this one, and he throws a huge smackdown on the rest of the superheroes, and it's pretty cool. And the cliffhanger in this one, it's pretty awesome.
We get to see Cyborg's beginning. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean...
Don't know if he'll come into action in the next few issues or not. Too early to tell. I mean, not too often somebody can just have pieces of their body just blasted off and you can just reattach people.
I mean, he'll come in soon, but it's kind of hard to tell when. But Jeff Johns has promised that Justice League will shine a light on Cyborg in like a new way, and I quote, will understand why he's the greatest superhero in the league. So that one. But this issue, Justice League, awesome story, kind of crawling along, but the action beats are awesome. Jim Lee's artwork is enough to buy the comic, but with Jeff Johns writing it, that's just
big power back.
Awesome. So I'm gonna give Justice League a 9.
I think I'm gonna give it a 9 as well. We take you on to Nightwing.
Nightwing, so awesome.
Nightwing definitely has its, I don't want to say ups and downs as there's low points of the comics. I just want to say that there's all ups.
Yeah, Nightwing is, I kind of had my doubts about it, but having introduced Dick Grayson, incorporating the fact that he was Batman for a year and he uses that to the better of his abilities and just kind of like his new outlook on being Nightwing is already awesome, but throw in a crazy assassin that believes that he is a murderer and a throwdown in an abandoned warehouse with a bunch of circus equipment. Awesome issue.
It's really awesome. I mean, how he turned out and save himself.
I mean, it's really nice to see that Dick Grayson can handle things on his own in the way that Batman does, alone, by himself, on his own terms, and it's really well written.
It's really good. His past is coming into play, definitely coming into his life. and it's pretty good to see that. I like it. I like
and
it.
I mean, and the artwork is fantastic.
It's something to behold.
Action sequence is very dynamic. It's good stuff all around. Pick it up. If you like anything Batman, you need Nightwing. I am going to give Nightwing a 9.5.
9.5. One of my favorite comics.
And now we bring you to the final comic of the day and my favorite of the week. Batman issue number 2, written by Scott Snyder and artwork by Greg Capullo.
Batman. Really, really awesome to say the least.
Yeah, awesome's kind of an understatement on this one. I mean, from the beginning scenes of Batman describing Wayne Tower and then seeing Bruce Wayne thrown out of Wayne Tower already sets the mood for the rest of the comic, and then you kind of see Batman as he's evolved. I mean, he's incorporating new gadgets. I mean, there's even one scene where instead of actually going into the morgue and examining a body himself, he somehow
has his own scanners.
Yeah, he fixed one of the security cameras to scan the body so that he can have a hologram image of it in the Batcave. That way he can be kind of everywhere at once. Cause
how cool is that?
I mean, paranoia growing, but he's Batman. So yeah, and the new villain, who I mean, no one's seen yet, and he doesn't even have a name yet. Kind of comes off as a total badass. I mean, takes on Bruce Wayne like it's nothing. Bruce tries to choke him out. Doesn't do anything.
Bruce Wayne is caught off his guard. That doesn't happen too often.
Yeah, and I mean, the dude lands basically in the middle of the street. They think he's dead. Gets up, kills a cop, takes off with the cop's car. Pretty. The scene where he lands on the 13th Guardian.
That scene that was just the cherry.
Yes, I mean that was probably my favorite scene. Just the scene with the 13th Guardian. You understand whenever you read it is the scene of the comic definitely captures kind of the mood that this is going in. So, gotta pick it up. Great artwork, really, really well written, fantastic so far, and it's only gonna get better. So, and it's knowing Scott Snyder and knowing that and all the plans that the guy's written 12 issues. I mean, he obviously has something big planned. Pick up Batman because it's Batman, but pick it up because it's also a great story and it has great artwork. And I'm gonna give Batman a solid 10.
10.
Alright, and that is it for the reviews this week. We are going to be coming back next week, same time, with a new batch of comic books. We're going to give a shout out to our own website. If you want to check out more, go to invinciblenerds.celstudios.com. There's a hyphen between the CEL and studios. And for anything else nerdy that you want to look at or listen to, check out our friends at Your Everyday Nerd. Go to youreverydaynerd.com, listen to their podcast. It's awesome. I'm part of it. Anyway, that is it for us this week. I'm Ethan.
I'm Francisco.
And we are Invincible Nerds.
See you next time.